that's 500 mils of water, structured water, clean water, went down so easily, beautiful tasting water.
Hi, I'm Carla. You're listening to Free to Be Curious. I've named this podcast after the values of freedom and curiosity. These inform and motivate the self-directed lifestyle choices that my family and I enjoy. I hope my guests inspire you as much as they inspire me. Welcome back to the Free to Be Curious podcast. We post weekly and we record our podcasts in the Riverside.fm online recording studio, and we use BUZZSPROUT to host our RSS feed. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Deezer, Amazon, and YouTube. Hit subscribe on our YouTube channel and click the bell icon to be notified when new episodes are released. Head on over to my website and sign up for our newsletter too, as that way you'll stay up to date with all our releases, promos, discount codes, and more. Join me on these socials, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. All of these links are in the description below and in the show notes. In this blog and vlog, I've chosen to focus simply on hydration and life-giving water. You'll notice that was my first 2023 resolution. Resolutions are gone, intentions are in. It was my first 2023 intention that I wrote about in my last blog. Without proper hydration, I did not see how I could focus any energy on my other intentions, which are connection, breath, mindfulness, and collaboration. In this blog, I'm including my hydration journey, my hydration hacks, my hydration research resources, and some high-level tips about water filters and purification systems and water structurers, which will make all the difference on your water drinking journey. Staying hydrated has become a passion for me, and each day that my cells get their fill of vital, life-giving water, I feel healthier and more alive than ever before. I've worked out some life hacks that keep my hydration levels optimal, and I'll share all I know with you. Little disclaimer, none of my episodes contain any medical advice or legal advice or any sort of advice at all. But right now, pause listening and pause reading. I insist. Get up, get yourself a glass of water, and come back and stay hydrated while you listen or read. The reason I wrote this blog was truly a friend inspired me. A very dear friend called me to chat about wellness, and although I'm neither a medical person or a wellness coach, I love finding the best research on nutrition and well-being, so I look forward to chats like this. She was feeling fatigued and was suffering from constipation, and at first we started chatting about the overarching philosophy of nutrition recommended by the Weston A. Price Foundation, but within a few minutes I just stopped the talk about food completely and focused the rest of the 45-minute conversation on water alone. Obviously, the food conversation included things like bone broth and fermented foods, but we paused on that and we went to water. My friend assured me that she was blessed because she had an e-spring water purification system, but she noticed in that moment, being 10 a.m., she had not had a drop of this clean water to drink. I often used to find myself in her position, so I suggested we pause the conversation to give her enough time to pour at least 1 liter of life-giving water into a jug and get settled again so she could drink while we chatted. At the same time, I filled my 1-liter glass bottle all the way to the top from my treasured under-counter water filter and structurer system. Both equipped to hydrate, this is what we chatted about. I started just talking to her about water purification and filtration and why we do it. And I said these systems are necessary for us folk who live in the city who are not directly accessing our water at the clean water source itself. These systems remove debris and bacteria, and they give us cleaner water than straight from the tap. I will dedicate more blogs to this in future when I describe and compare all sorts of systems for you, and I will have a guest dedicated on this topic. Then I spoke to her about water structurers. What a water filter doesn't do is energize our water to mimic exactly the life force it contains when coming directly from the natural source in nature. You can drink a lot of clean filtered water and still not be or feel hydrated. What's missing is one small step that energizes your water and presents it to your cells in the same or as close to form that water exists in nature. This is called structuring your water. Once you've felt the joy of drinking structured water, you cannot go back. Structured water is easy to drink. It is immediately hydrating and it is accessible to your body to use. I used to feel so much guilt about water. here I am sharing my water journey with you. I knew I needed more and I knew I was dehydrated. And whenever I had body work, such as body talk or kinesiology, it used to come up with a dire warning that my body was desperate for more water. But I found drinking water to be a hardship and a chore and something that I had to do under duress and with guilt and never feeling like I'd done enough but never able to do more. Through the Weston A. Price Foundation, I discovered structured water, and I fell in love with water like no other water I had tasted before. Structured water is smooth, and as my friend Jodie Walmer pointed out, it's almost sweet in taste. It is hydrating. There are so many ways that you can DIY structure your water, which is really good news, and I'll take you through each one in a dedicated DIY water structuring post. I started out DIYing water structuring, and later when I felt the immense life-altering benefits of structured water, we installed a water structurer linked to our water purification system, so I now get my structured water on tap effectively. You can do all of this too, and I'll share all I know in an upcoming blog. The next thing that my friend and I spoke about were the specific habits that I have found work for me, life hacks and habits that I try and do every day to make my water drinking a sustainable part of my day. So I'm going to take you through those habits now. They work for me. I say try them out for yourselves and see what works for you. But whatever you choose, go slow in the beginning. And I say that because your cells will thank you. Your cells will thank you for giving them the hydration they need, and their thank you might be in the form of a detox. So go slow and start early every single day. So here we go. Here are my hacks. My first one that I mention is understand your own thirst cues. I didn't know whether to make this the first point or the last. It's so important, so I may repeat it. Thirst cues are such subtle little things, and they give up very easily. A cue could be that you start thinking about water. You have one passing thought about water. It could be that you feel a dryness in your mouth. It could be that you start craving something sweet or salty or a stimulant like caffeine. For me, that's one of mine. I'll start thinking about coffee and something sweet. When these shy thirst cues don't get a response, they sort of give up and disappear. They're not very resilient, often because they've been abused for years, right? If you find you are not thirsty, it could be because your thirst cues from your body are so quiet, misunderstood, or unintentionally being ignored. I was there, guys, so you're not alone. You'll get it right when you start hydrating. So the next thing I say is that you need to prepare the day before. Well, at least I need to prepare the day before. And it's such a simple, small time investment. This is what I do. At night, I fill my 1 liter bottle with structured, purified water and I put it in my room ready for when I wake up the next morning. I find this step to be critical. I do still have a water bottle next to me when I'm sleeping at night in case I wake up thirsty. But guys, interesting fact, since I've started hydrating better in the day, I hardly touch that water bottle at night. I don't even need it, but I have it there just in case. So that if I am thirsty, it's easy to drink that water at night. But going back to the preparation, I make sure when I wake up, I've got that 1 liter bottle ready, inviting me to drink it. Once I put that little hack in place, the rest of the day seems to flow beautifully because I've started hydrating my body early on. When I miss this step, my thirst cues seem a lot quieter and I find it more work to drink the amount I need to drink that day. This tiny preparation investment is absolutely essential. That leads me into my next tip, which is start early and avoid cramming. In the morning, I start drinking that 1 liter bottle of water on rising or shortly afterwards. And I used to force that water down. After a time, I realized that was rather a violent wake up for my body. So now I ease into it. And within an hour or so of waking, I've had the 1 liter and probably another 500 to 750 mils or so, usually by 10 a.m. Starting early is what I feel makes all the difference. Cramming 3 liters of water in towards the day is not the best idea. Just take my advice, I've been there. It's so harsh on your body, you won't enjoy it, and you'll be up all night needing to pee, which will affect your sleep, which is so important. So start early on rising and throughout the morning. Personally, this is my best and most enjoyable hydration time. I find that's when I drink the most, and I love drinking the most. My body seems to desire the most water in the morning. From about midday, I'm drinking less, a more spaced out, less volume, so reduced frequency and reduced amount, but I'm still making a conscious effort to stay hydrated for the rest of the day. The next hack that I have is that I have a time to drink separate from a time to eat. I'm usually not drinking the 1 liter bottle of water at the same time as eating a meal. About 20 years ago, I read a book about food combining, and I was drawn to the book because it was reputed to hold the cure for heartburn, also known as acid reflux, which had plagued me for the first 23 or so years of my life, and the book did live up to that promise. One of the recommendations in the book was not to eat and drink at the same time, as they thought it can dilute your stomach acid and make food digestion less effective. And digestion is such an energy-intensive process, you just want to make it as effective as possible. Since I've discovered the Weston A. Price Foundation and I've learned how to prepare my food properly for digestion, I'm finding that acid reflux and heartburn don't even plague me anymore. And I'm feeling much better since healing my gut, but I still avoid drinking a lot with a meal. So my drinking time is quite separate from my eating time. That leads me into my next point, which is take the time to drink your water. I am not an advocate for taking tiny little sips of water continuously through the day. That may be your style when you start out, and that's okay. When we observe animals in the wild, we see that they drink a decent quantity of water at intervals throughout the day. The zebras are not carrying around a beautiful glass water bottle. Although my glass water bottle is my constant companion, I drink the whole bottle at regular intervals instead of little sips all day long. See what works for you and adapt as your body becomes used to being hydrated. I coined this term recently by observation, and it is the more you drink, the more you drink, and the less you drink, the less you drink. So yes, I'm coming back to those thirst cues again. When I ignore or misunderstand my subtle thirst cues, my body gets despondent and it loses the energy to keep sending them, and I just end up drinking less. When I'm in tune with my cues and I prepare for the day, starting early, I drink much more comfortably. So keep hydrating and your thirst cues will become more resilient when they know they get a response and they have the energy to send the signals, and they'll be more determined to get through to you. When a thirst cue gets its response, you'll find you're able to drink larger quantities of water, and it is not a hardship to do so. It isn't difficult to drink the water, and your body is ready to receive it with grace and gratitude like nature intended. On that point, I wanted to mention that hydration is so healing, but dehydration is really serious. So some clues that you may be dehydrated or heading for dehydration include brain fog, a bad mood, constipation, dry or chapped lips, and a dry mouth, just to name 5 or 6 of them. When your body has the tools it needs to heal, it will do so. Lior Lazinski touched on this quite a bit in our podcast called Holistic Wellness, and he mentioned one of those tools for healing is water. If you find yourself feeling tired, experiencing a slump, craving something, experiencing a drop in your mood, try drinking a glass of life-giving water and then drink another one. I also want to mention one of my tips is to consider the temperature of your water. I will be taking a deep dive into this on another blog post because it's a topic all of its own. But in the meantime, I want to share what I have observed so far, and it seems easier for me to drink room temperature water or warm water. Very cold water feels harsher to assimilate, and since I want to support my hydration as much as possible, I reach for room temperature or warm water over cold water. If my only choice is a glass of cold water, I will drink it, but that's what I prefer. You might ask how other liquids compare to water, and it's a question I've asked myself many times, and it's a question that people ask me a lot. You might be wondering whether the herbal tea or the juice you drink counts as water. After all, it does contain water, doesn't it? So my quick answer is there is no substitute for water. Pure water is so easy for your body to digest and use. I wouldn't dare compromise on that by initiating a hydration source that requires extra work from the body in terms of digestion. Because digestion is so energy intensive, I'm not going to initiate a hydration source that triggers that. I'd rather simply drink the water. In a future blog post, I want to dive deep into this aspect of water and hydration as well. But having said that, I do drink other liquids in the day. I'll drink a glass of raw milk. I'll drink a mug of bone broth. I'll have water kefir. I'll have beet kvass. I'll have kombucha. But I consider all of those to be nourishing food and not a water source. Talking about water sources, if you find you are getting a bit bored and you do need to add a bit of variety, you can boost your water by adding a healing tonic to it. I would still be drinking the quantity of pure water without any
additions, but if you need a bit of variety to make it interesting, you can add things like some natural salt to your water, a squeeze of lemon juice, some apple cider vinegar, a shot of beet kvass to make it purple and interesting. And my friend Jodie Walmer recommended a beautiful sort of mocktail, which is sparkling water with some salt and lemon and a bit of apple cider vinegar, and it's absolutely delicious. So guys, what I wanted this blog post to be about was just to say that water is so wise and water is healing, and to wish you luck on your journey to hydration. I can tell you this much, it is an everyday effort. I feel like my water drinking is a full-time job that I've taken on, but it does get easier with time and it is very rewarding. Your body will be thanking you. I'm sending you the resilience to keep it up, and reach out to chat to me anytime about this blog or any other blog. I really look forward to hearing about your hydration journey. Thank you for spending this time with me. I love getting to know my listeners. So please do subscribe to my YouTube channel and on your chosen podcast app. Engage with me in meaningful conversation on my comment-friendly blog, and send me an email to share your self-directed life story. My website address is the Free2BCuriouspodcast.com, and my email address is carla@free2becurious.com. I really look forward to getting to know you.